In this video, we're going to have a look at why saying no sometimes can be a really good thing and how you can say no without causing tension in your relationships. We'll have a look at some examples from both work and home, however the concept is the same. Ahoy, Peter here from Bryter Training. Thanks for joining me in this video as I explore the topic of how to say no. If you haven't already, please remember to hit like and subscribe. It helps us know we're on the right track and the support that we get is really appreciated. So let's start with why being too accommodating can be a bad thing. If you're always agreeing with everyone else, doing what they want or taking on extra work for them, then it can have some serious negative impacts. It can make you resentful toward other people. It can be physically and emotionally exhausting. It can leave you with too much on your plate and not enough time or energy to focus on what you really need to do. And it can result in priority activities or part of your life just not getting proper attention. Most people I know aren't mind readers. If you always say yes to things, then they have no way of knowing that it's a problem. Sure, it would be nice if they considered it without you needing to say anything. However, you can't really resent someone or bring it up in a future argument when you've never spoken up. Recognize that you have the right to say no, and focusing on your own needs is not a bad thing. There is a great metaphor I heard once about filling your own glass first. So imagine that this glass represents you. Now it gets regularly filled by the things that recharge us, so sleep, exercise, socializing, family, work. Let me know what things fill your glass in the comments. However, if you're always saying yes, you're basically pouring your energy into other people's glasses. And this leaves you with an empty glass. However, if you let your own glass remain full, then it will begin to overflow. And you can give as much of that away to other people as you want. So filling your own glass and keeping it full, you can actually help more people and not less. So how do you do that? First, be realistic. Sometimes we need to do things we would prefer not to do, whether socially or professionally, or you may need to take on some tasks that add a little bit of stress and pressure. And saying no too often can leave you looking uncooperative or not a team player. And of course, you may need help in the future, so a little bit of credit in the bank, so to speak, isn't a bad thing. Be clear on your priorities. What needs to be done, what has specific deadlines, what's important to you. And remember, it can be important responsibilities or taking time out to recharge, so refilling your glass. Just be clear on what you need and what you want to do first. Next, if you say no, then offer an explanation. It helps people recognize what is important to you and they can learn from that. If it is something that someone has asked you to do for them, maybe driving them to the airport or taking on more work in the office, it'll ensure that they understand your position and that you're not just being obstructive, which helps with the relationship. And if someone is perhaps trying to do something nice, inviting you out to a bar and an event that you don't want to go to, then it helps them to know that their efforts are appreciated, however, maybe to consider an alternative. When offering the explanation, be honest and to the point. If you don't have time, have other plans, other priorities, or a schedule conflict, then just say so. Even if the reason you give is 100% true, too much detail can actually make it look like you're lying to avoid saying yes. And of course, if you say no, then perhaps offer alternatives or a compromise. If you don't want to go out, then offer the alternative of ordering some food in or making cocktails at home. If you can't or don't want to take on additional tasks at work, then you can offer up support or help proofread, give directions to resources that can help, or perhaps offer to help someone out if they'll then assist you with something afterwards. On a personal level, it's a good idea to reflect on why you would like to say no. Is there a good reason? Is it just that it's taking you outside your comfort zone? Is it nothing to do with the request, but you're just tired or busy in other areas of your life? Perhaps you need to identify the areas of your life that are causing stress so that you're better able to accept other opportunities. So basically, what's draining your glass? Now, saying no at work can be a little bit different since you are paid to do a job and you're often part of a team. You also don't want to look insubordinate by refusing work given to you by your boss. Not enjoying something or being busy isn't really a good reason to refuse something. So how do you decide if you can say no? And if you can, how do you do it? Start with being clear on your role and your position description. If it's not part of your role, then the fact that it's coming to you could be investigated. So look at the reason for the request. Is it because you're the best? Does the person asking not have the skills? Are they simply handballing stuff that they don't want to do and you're a pushover? And is this a regular occurrence? Whether you say yes or no, be clear on the future process. For example, you might say, "This isn't something that's part of my role and I can't do it for you regularly. So in the future, you'll need to ensure that there's adequate time put aside, or I'm happy to teach you the process so that you can do it next time." Now consider the impact it'll have on the team, the customers, or the business, and consider the urgency in the bigger picture. But again, if you agree to do something, do be clear on that future process. As we said before, if you say no, then offer an explanation. Succinctly, you're not on trial. Why you can't do it, and offer suggestions on resources or the next steps. Another great method is to say yes, but with conditions. For example, "I'm happy to do that for you. However, I do have some other priorities at the moment, so I can't do it for you for another few hours. If you need it sooner than that, then you'll need to consider an alternative." This can be done personally or professionally. Agree to a schedule and a process that works for you. If it's not urgent, not your role, and it will impact you negatively, so emotionally, your time, your energy, then simply say no. So what happens if you do all of that, but you just feel guilty saying no? Then consider, who do you already help and do things with or for? Chances are you're already helping a lot of people, so don't feel bad about drawing a line. Consider what you get back. Do you get equal support and help back for all that you give? And is it all appreciated? Relationships of all kinds are give and take, so check the balance of the equation. Ask how it makes you feel. Now, if you want to say no, there could be a good reason for that, so listen to your body and your gut. However, do consider why you want to say no. There could be other conflicts in your life that you really should resolve. And recognize that people may be putting themselves first in asking you, so all you're doing is matching that. If saying no doesn't come easily, then you can practice and reflect on the experience. Like anything, it's a skill and a process, so something that you can always analyze and improve. So when faced with small, inconsequential things, offer alternatives such as a different time, a different location, or a different process. Offer a compromise and agree to part of the request, or simply say no. If someone asks for your preference, then give one. Don't say, "Oh, I don't mind," or "whatever you want." You'll see that the world doesn't end once you give an opinion, and once people understand your boundaries, then it can be much easier for everyone. And remember, once you have those boundaries established and your cup is full, you may find that you then have the time and the energy to help more people. Ultimately, consider the impact of saying no. If it's not life-threatening, then do what feels right. Consider the impact of the stress, the time, and the energy in doing what you don't want to do. Making an effort for other people is nice, and it's about picking your battles and showing a little bit of empathy. Sometimes it's just not about you, but sometimes it is. And when that happens, it's okay to say no. Do you struggle saying no to people? How does that make you feel if you say yes to something at work when you really don't want to? Leave your thoughts, experiences, and suggestions in the comment section below. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.